Showtime! The Capital G show starts right now.
What's up YouTube, Capital G here, and I'm talking Gladiator beast Augustor in this video. I'm actually surprised by people's reactions. Like, I'm a little dumbfounded that so many people are down on this card. Like, you know, there seems to be this misconception that I want to clear up in this video that a lot of people are like disappointed because the card wasn't broken or uber overpowered, but by no means does that make this a bad or subpar card. You know, everybody's like all up in arms, like, oh, Capital G, it's not OP, it's not broken, I can't get jiggy with this shit. Calm down, people. I still think that this card is excellent. For those of you guys who don't know, maybe you live under a rock, it's a new Gladiator beast card coming out in Primal Origins. That's the new OCG set, the newest OCG booster set in Japan. It will be coming to the States or the TCG shortly. It's a dark winged beast, effect monster, level 8, 26 attack, 1000 defense. His effect reads, when this monster is successfully special summoned by the effect of a GB monster, you can special summon one GB monster from your hand in face up defense position. The monster special summoned by this effect is returned to the deck during the end phase. At the end of the battle phase, this card battled, you can return this card to the deck to summon one GB monster from your deck except itself. Okay, so for starters, unlike the big-ass unplayable beaters that they previously gave to the deck in Alexander and Octavius, Augustor can actually tag out. Like, that was the first thing I saw and I was like, cool. Also, he doesn't have some stupid-ass payment cost to stay on the field. That's what completely ruined Octavius. You had to constantly discard cards just to keep it on board. And you don't need a specific monster to tag it in. That completely killed all playability of Alexander. So this card is already legions above the other failed beaters they tried to get to the deck. But maybe what people have missed about Augustor is the fact that the Glad that you summon from the hand gets its freaking effect because it is considered to be tagged in. Keep in mind that tagged in is just a term that the players made up, and just because you're not special summoned from the deck doesn't mean you can't trigger the effect. I mean, Glad simply state on the cards, when this monster was special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator beast monster, activate X effect. I mean, that's what all GBs say pretty much, and that is their specific archetype condition. But guess what? When you special summon something from Augustor, you've met that condition. It doesn't matter that it's being special summoned from the hand, you met the condition. Darius is the obvious exception because Darius says right there on the card, negate the Glad's effect. So, you know, everybody's going to say, well, it has to be special summoned in defense mode. Who gives a freaking rip? The GB that you summon isn't going to be on the field very long anyway, so it's not like you have to worry about it getting run over. And I mean, outside of you summoning him via Test Tiger, which I wouldn't run right now anyways, I mean, you've already used your battle phase, so it's not like the monster could have attacked either way. So, I mean, really there isn't much of a downside. And people look at the fact that the card goes back in the deck as like some sort of deal breaker. It's like, oh, well, I summoned my monster only to have it go back in the deck. I mean, all you have to do is circumvent that restriction, which really isn't that difficult. Like, here, I'll give you a couple examples. Summon Darius with Augustor's effect. Darius is going to trigger. Darius gets another random GB from the graveyard. You Xyz summon using Darius and the other random GB. Darius doesn't go back during the end phase because Darius is no longer on the field. Let's see, you can special summon Bestiari with Augustor's effect. You can pop a card, that's automatically a +1, and then you can use Augustor and Bessie to make Grazaris. Pop 2 more cards, you're still +1 because you gave up 2 monsters for 1. Now, a counter argument could be made that maybe I just cherry picked the best case scenarios, and you know what? If you want to play devil's advocate, I completely get that. Alright, let's look at some worst case scenarios then. Alright, so we'll special summon Mermillo from Augustor's effect, which, keep in mind, is a card that you practically never want to draw in GBs. So Mermillo's going to trigger. We're going to pop a monster on our opponent's field. And then guess what? During the end phase, we're just going to tag him back in so that we can later use him in the duel. And what have we accomplished here? Okay, well, we got Mermillo back into the deck, number 1. Number 2, we got his effect off. We still blew up a card on our opponent's field. And number 3, we did not have to summon his weak ass because we know he can't run over shit. Second situation, you're going to special summon Gladiator beast Quest off Augustor's effect this time. And this situation actually assumes that you drew both of your quests, which can be a serious pain in the ass because you can't chariot juggle then, or it becomes really difficult to keep bouncing cards to your hand and make an advantage. Alright, so you're going to special summon your quest, obviously. It's going to trigger. You're going to get any Glad card that you want. whether that be Chariot, Bestiari, Laquari, whatever. And then basically during the end phase, you just let a quest go back to the deck. Here's the thing, now you can go back to Chariot juggling. Now you can keep tagging your quests in and out, and you can keep that advantage going. Both of these situations can easily happen in a 9-round regional, and playing Augustor completely bails you out. And that doesn't even take into consideration in all 4 situations that I named, even the ones where the GB just goes back to the deck and you don't get your monster back, you never once go -1. And lastly, and one of the most obvious reasons why I think that this card is good, and if you play GBs at a high level event, you should already know this, there are going to be plenty of times where you tag into Laquari simply because there is little to no advantage to be made by tagging in anything else but a beater. I mean, and in every single one of those situations, you have a better play now in Augustor because his 500 extra attack just runs more shit over. It does more damage, and I don't know, it may save you from having to use that fucking Forbidden Lance that you might be able to save for 2 more turns, or you might be able to use on your opponent's Mirror Force instead of having to use it to protect your monsters. So, you know, when I look at this card, it's like, it's just fantastic. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to take out Laquari. This card obviously still has its spot solidified in the deck because you can just summon him without tagging him in, and obviously you need him to make Heraclinos and shit like that. But I think that right now, well, assuming that this card would be out right now, I would cut like Laquari to 2, and I'd run a 1 Augustor. You know, I think that it's a super solid beater. It works extremely well with Darius and Bestiari, and it even gets those dead Murmillos out of your hand. Like, when you draw Murmillo, it is such a fucking pain and work trying to get that card back into the deck so that you can tag into it. And, you know, if you draw it, then it might be a little dead, obviously. But me personally, if I was running GBs right now, I'd probably run Respite. Like, I'd run a Respite build because then I don't have to worry about my dead draw Augustors. You know, if I have too many monsters, I can unclog it with Respite. You know, if I draw multiple Chariots, I can unclog that with Respite. Not to mention, you can cycle through Respites with, Gladiator Beast of Quest. Like, I've always thought that that's one of the most attractive things, is that you can put it back in your hand with a quest. So let me know what you guys think. I'm playing this card when it comes out. Like, I think that I'll definitely play 1 copy. It's a fantastic card. People really need to stop downing it because it wasn't broken. It's still really, really good. Thank you guys for watching as always. Subscribing makes life happy.